Welcome back to Fairy Tale Anime Review. This is episode number 39. This one I'm reviewing the 307th episode of the anime, Gray and Juvia. This episode covers chapters 499 and 500, which means that this episode, in the terms of the dub, there's about 44 chapters left, because what I've heard is they're going to go to 44. Even Todd Heppicore was surprised the fact it was going to go to 544. He assumed it was going to go straight to the final chapter, but I don't. He was actually genuinely surprised about that. But yes, we do know that he does know that the episode count is going to go to 327, which means that as of this episode, there's only about 20 to go. Yep, 20. This episode has two major things going on. I mean, most of the episode is focused on Gray and Juvia. There's a little bit to focus on. Well, let's talk about the focus of the little bit. So you have Rogue taking on Bloodman. You have Meridia, I think that's her name, taking on the guy who shoots electricity. Let's see. You have Elfman and Lasana taking on the Desert King. And, oh yeah, let's see. You have Natsu and Lucy and Happy talking to Brandish. Demore basically shows up there. And, of course, there's one person who is I think this is the guy who creates Astorius. Yes, the guy who creates Astorius. And he's basically been bewitched by Irina. And, of course, Natsu, of course, beats the living crap out of him. Gets a pretty good fight with him, but it's not concluded in this episode. But let's talk about the thing that this episode's about. The episode starts up where last week's episode left off, where you have Gray and Juvia having chains around their necks, having minds manipulated, and they're forced to beat the living crap out of each other. Also, pretty much shredding Juvia's clothing. I mean, her hat was already knocked off anyways. Basically, her outfit was shredded to the point where, almost to the point where her top could easily come off. And, of course, they both come with the same idea. The only way to end this is to, well, for her perspective, she wants to kill herself to stop this. And of course, Gray does it first. Gray must have come with the same idea. He stabs himself with an ice sword, and then to keep him alive because Juvia loves him so much. She forms a blood transfusion. Yes, a blood transfusion with water. Apparently, she somehow knows this. I didn't know she really knows it at all, but yeah, she does a blood transfusion. And of course, because of the fact the Winter Wizard was actually, and of course he's surprised to see Gray alive and well. What does Gray do? Beat the living crap out of him. Like, I mean, no match, basically, like, almost like a bare knuckle brawl. Yeah, basically punching his face. He tries to go armor form, uses demon magic to basically copy his magic, and basically shatter his armor, and he beats him up so much, he actually has his face swollen afterwards. He also smashed the guy's glasses. Yeah, it's a pretty brutal brawl with him, and then, of course, Julia's revived thanks, of course, to Wendy and Carla, and they reveal the reason why they were able to find us quickly because of Carla's clairvoyance. And of course, the episode ends with one of the most shocking cliffhangers of the entire show, basically having the Winter General telling Gray who END is. He tells him it's Natsu. And setting up the events of next week's episode. Which is an episode that a lot of weird stuff happens next week's episode. I thought what happened this episode. No, it's actually next week. And my gosh, it's going to be weird. The stuff going to go on next week. But yeah. This by far was a really good episode. A1 Pages and Cloverworks, fantastic job with this episode. And I got hands to the dub actors who voiced Gray and Juvia. They did a really good job of this. Also, and the thing with Brandy is, first time we see her, she's still in giant form from last week's episode, and then she shrunk herself down, and she looked like she's aching to fight. And that's when the other guy shows up. Yep. And of course, Brandy is actually surprised at how strong Natsu is. And she tells them that she was spared them because of how nice they treated her, but she was still slaughtered her comrades. Yeah. And of course, he mentions what happened toward the beginning of this arc where they go to that island. The island that she shrunk to basically the size of basically a rock. Yep. trying to think what else. Did I miss anything? Not really. No, actually. Oh yeah, they actually have a bit of a flashback with the Winter General and Seraph, and talk about the locket he wears around his neck. Yeah, this locket has been frequently seen around his neck the whole series, and it's something that reveals what's inside of it. Like anyways, watch the episode, watch the ending credits show. They show a young version of Seraph and Natsu. Well, past Natsu, anyways. And inside the locket is, of course, Seraph and Natsu. That's simply just that's what's inside the capsule, the locket around his neck. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That pretty much covers the whole episode. I can't think of anything left out. Well, also I forgot to mention this. We also have the continuing battle between Jacob and Mira Jade, and he's fighting with his eyes closed because of the fact Mira Jade is basically nearly naked. But that's not entirely her fault. That's Irina's fault. She's the one who practically tried to kill her for defeating her subordinates. Yep, that's simply the gist of it. Yeah. Oh yeah, and also the guy who creates the story referred to as Lady Urza because Lady Irina sent him after. Okay, and of course everybody questions, even Brady is questions like, why are you referring to Urza as Lady Urza for? Not even she knows what the heck is going on, and she's part of the Spigot 12. I mean, yes, she's friends, but she also mentions though she would never portray as the Alvarez Empire because that's her home. And of course she's accused of betraying, even though she's not really traded anyways. But yeah, really good episode. So yeah, I have 2 more videos I'm going to do next. First one, of course, is the newest chapter of the 7 Deadly Sins, which is, of course, is a really good chapter. And a comic corner. Yep. And it'll be 2 trades for the same character. You'll find out what they are in the next 2 videos. But next video, 7 Deadly Sins, okay? See you next view. Bye.